Check out the giant flea market find I got yesterday. This was at a local automotive swap meet in southern Ontario, and this huge 150 car lot and truck lot, nothing newer than about 1972, I would say. Most of it from the 60s and even some stuff from the 50s. We're gonna have a little gander and look through all these old cool trucks and cars. There's everything from Lesney Matchbox to Husky. Actually, more Husky vehicles in this one box of cars that I bought than I have in my entire collection so far. As well as its predecessor, or successor I should say, Corgi Juniors. An interesting little car from Meccano, Miniature Dinky it's known as. And a whole bunch of other cool things here that didn't fit on this table. Ultimately, it's all going to head over to the JunkYard diorama, where we've got a few more cool finds from the flea market. Big old Majorette truck and some Hot Wheels. A very interesting Impy car and Kidco car. Some old Yatmings and a bunch of other things. Most likely they're not worth much, but they may be of some historical interesting value to anyone that knows or recognizes these vehicles, these off-brand vehicles from yesteryear. No idea what they are. Very few have any titles on them. Here again is a closer look at some Yatmings. A Road Champ, a really nice Mazda RX-7 with opening doors and knockoff style Hot Wheels on it. The Majorettes, pretty common stuff, but hard to find these big 1/64 scale trucks, especially for $5. I think I did well on that one, even though it's nowhere near mint. Interesting Majorette Volvo. Some not so interesting old Hot Wheels. These are pretty common. I basically just pick them up whenever the price is $1 or less to add to my hoard, but really for no reason other than that, because they're not display worthy in my collection. This here is a gem though, the Impy. Opening hood, trunk, and doors with jeweled gem headlights. Pretty interesting. Two-part wheels. Let's flip that over, shut some of the doors, and... Is it a Vauxhall? No. A Tonus 12M scale model. I have no idea what that is. Lone Star, made in England. Roadmaster Impy supercars. Pretty cool. And then here we have a Kidco car. This was an individual purchase at the flea market. I paid $5 for it. It's probably too much, but it's not something you're going to see every day. Maybe if you're actually hunting these on eBay. But opening doors. Very basic, cheap chassis. This would be probably early 1980s. I don't have much of a Kidco car collection, but I really just liked this car. So there's that. Now on to the Hoard. The old Hoard of the collection. Check out the condition of these cars. A little less than minty, I would say. There's the Meccano Mustang. We'll look at that in a second. Just going to glaze over some of these awesome old JunkYard Lesney cars. Before they were called Matchbox. Very decrepit condition for the most part. Some of them have been painted. Pretty much all of them have some sort of damage or another. Some are melted and burnt, squashed, broken, missing parts. Some really interesting models in here though. And just a good lot. I actually end up buying all of these vehicles, plus most of the ones you just saw on the diorama table, in one big cardboard box. I just said, what do you want for the whole box? Because basically this is all, I could tell it was all from Grandpa's basement or something. Pretty much undisturbed since its last hoorah in the sandbox or wherever back in 1985. Pretty cool stuff. Let's zoom back in on that Meccano car. The only Meccano car in the bunch. Opening trunk. Let's take a closer look at some of the more interesting models here. I don't know if I scanned over the Huskies all that much here, but Husky was a brand of vehicles that came out, I think, in 1963, and they were bought out in 1969 by Corgi. So these are all Husky here. Corgi had the Corgi Juniors and the Whiz Wheels. We're looking at some Corgis now. There was some carryover castings from the Husky years, such as this wagon. An interesting car, never cast by any other manufacturer, even to this day. So there, you got the Corgi alternative to that one, and that was in 1970. Corgi went belly up in the early 80s. Filed for bankruptcy, I believe, and later bought by Mattel, 1989. Hence why you'll see some Corgi castings in the Hot Wheels line in the early 90s, and from there it was basically just absorbed and squashed. The only Super King I had in the box of vehicles I bought was this Caterpillar D9 tractor, missing a whole bunch of parts, both tracks, the shovel. So that's about 1/60th scale. It's a pretty big piece, and I'm going to add that to my drawer full of old junked Matchbox Lesney trucks. As you can see, I have got quite a few now. Pretty much pick them up wherever I go, and they make a nice little junkyard diorama. There's that truck, isn't that cool? Anyways, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. That's a separate video though. But that's where all my big old Super Kings go, and whatever else doesn't fit, like the Texaco truck.